Okay, Jonathan K. again. If you're wondering why so many white upper middle class Canadians are suddenly discovering that they're pie spirited, pansexual crotch goblins or whatever, this is one reason. They get bumped to the front of the university job queue. You now need to, I mean, it's really important now to not be like a straight white man in Canada if you want anything in academia. They're not a fan, they don't like you. And even the other, straight white male professors and whatnot, they're all too scared to say anything. So they're completely, I think the vast majority of them anyway, maybe not all of them, but the vast majority are just too cowardly to even defend themselves. They think they'll get eaten last, I guess. The University of British Columbia is hiring a Canadian research chair in neuromodulation in spinal cord rehabilitation. The position is only open to people with disabilities, Indigenous people, racialized people, women, and people from minoritized gender identity groups. The women really got themselves a sweet deal in all this, didn't they? They just totally stabbed all the men in the back. Women, just like it's white liberal women, making sure that none of this affects them. So let's see. The Canada Research Chair Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Action Plan gives the university's efforts to sustain the participation of people with disabilities, Indigenous people, racialized people, women, people from minoritized gender identity groups, and thus pursuant to Section 42 of the BC Human Rights Code. UBC is currently restricted in the recruitment, selection, and nomination of CRCs to members of these groups, which is really stupid, which brings us back to what Jonathan K. said, that if you're wondering why so many white upper middle class Canadians are suddenly discovering that they're pie-spirited pansexual crotch goblins, this is why. Because for one thing, you don't really have to do anything to be that. You can just say you're that, and they just have to believe you. So it doesn't really cost you anything. I mean, to be a pie-spirited pansexual crotch goblin, what do you really have to change in your life? I don't think it's anything. I think you just have to say it. No, I'm sorry, we can't accept your application. You're a white man. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Perhaps I haven't made myself clear. I'm a pie-spirited pansexual crotch goblin, not a straight white man. I'm one of the chosen people. Oh, yes, well, we'll take that application right now. I mean, what are people going to do? I mean, people got to eat. People got to pay the rent. You're going to say whatever. People will throw on a dress. If it gets them a job, people are desperate enough. They'll throw on some heels, a cocktail dress, if that's going to get them that, six-figure job. And if somebody doubts that you're a pie-spirited pansexual crotch goblin, well, it's just your word against theirs, isn't it? They pretty much have to believe you. They made the rules. They're the ones who made these rules. You just got to believe it. You got to believe that these bizarre, abstract ideas are rooted in reality. We're not the ones who think that. They are. James Curtis says, Trudeau is a life-sized ventriloquist dummy. Yeah, I believe that he is. Yeah, I mean, with Trudeau, it doesn't feel to me like he is even acting on his own impetus, right? He's just putting forward somebody's plan, some group's plan, some cabal's plan. Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Even for his political career, it doesn't make any sense to just keep going like he is, just so heedlessly into unpopularity. Doesn't make any sense. I mean, if he wanted to continue being prime minister, he wouldn't do the things he's doing. He's doing things that everybody is already told, that he already knows. I mean, I'm sure his polling has told him the things he's doing, people don't like. The mass immigration, people don't want anymore. It's extremely unpopular. Yet he's out just last week saying that his most important job is to convince Canadians how important it is to bring in millions of more people. A guy who's worried about losing doesn't do that, right? A guy who's worried about his political career doesn't do that. So I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation, of course, but the one thing we do know is that he's a complete fucking idiot.